So Disney decided to make another live action adaptation, and this time they chose 2002's Lilo and Stitch. And I don't want to hear anybody say that this guy is stressing over a kid's movie, because newsflash, the original came out when I was a kid, so it's absolutely warranted. And quite honestly, so if you don't know, Lilo and Stitch centers around an alien experimentation 626 who is set to be terminated, and he escapes to Hawaii where he meets Lilo and her older sister and guardian Nani. It's a story about family, community, love, and changing for the better. So Chris Sanders, the original's co-director, writer, creator, and voice of Stitch, is back as Stitch. And honestly, Stitch in this one was an almost identical copy of the original. Maya Kealoha as Lilo was extremely fitting. This was her first film and she absolutely carried it. But for me, that's kind of where everything stopped. They made a lot of changes and not for the better. The first major change for me that kind of worked but also really hinders the film was that I had a neighbor named Tutu, played by Amy Hill. And even though she is a new character in this version, she was kind of like an anchor for this family. Nani in the original was extremely mature and carried this chip on her shoulder and trying to hold down a job, be a good sister and mother towards Lilo. But having this neighbor really nerfed Nani's character arc. That being said, adding Tutu into this film does work simply because it adds that community aspect for the Hawaiian culture and people. Cobra Bubbles is another character that they changed, and not for the betterment. Again, in the original, we first met Cobra when Nani is rushing back home and she kicks this guy's car, and it turns out to be the service worker Cobra, and Cobra ends up later on being a special agent. And in this one, he's still a service worker, but in the beginning of the film, he's introduced as an agent from the jump. Like, I feel like they did that because, you know, the fans already know that he's going to be an agent. But I just think that, you know, for the magic of things, it would have been good if you just kept it that way, because there are some people who haven't even seen the original Lilo and Stitch. Another big change, and this is more of a pun, but the removal of Gantu. Like, it makes sense because the whole premise of this film is to keep a low profile, and having this giant ass alien just walking through the island just doesn't make a lot of sound sense in this particular version, whereas the animated one, it kind of does. But removing Gantu, now you have to have a character who is a big jerk, and who are they gonna make do that? They're gonna make frickin' Jumba do that, the erratic mad scientist. Pleakley is played by Billy Magnuson and Jumba is played by Zach Galifianakis, and that casting did not work for me at all. Like, Jumba is meant to be this erratic mad scientist, and having Zach Galifianakis play that character just doesn't really make much sense, because Zach is more of a Pleakley type of character. And it was also weird having them actually transform into humans to take on human disguises as opposed to just dressing up as humans. But I think, again, that's one of the differences between live action and animated. In animated, they can kind of make it work. But let me know what you guys think if you've seen the live action or the animated Lilo and Stitch. And yeah, that's about it.